I swear, guys, Mercury in retrograde, my computer, it's going crazy. It's like opening up the internet tab and then closing it. But here is, the second part. As I was saying, Lilith and Gemini, strategy. It's all about strategy for Lilith and Gemini. And Lilith and Gemini, we get bored. We get bored very easily because we are an air sign with the Lilith and our mind is going like do 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 all the time. So we'll get bored with, what we're watching, and if we're not careful, the lower energy of Lilith and Gemini is we will start doing things just for the fuck of it. Because Lilith and Gemini, we see the world as a platform. A lot of Lilith and Geminis are actors and actresses and singers and performers. So when you have Lilith and Gemini, you kind of just see everything as a game. As bad as that sounds, you see it all as a game. You see it all as a game, and you're kind of like, so what if I just said this to someone? Or what if I just did this instead? What would happen if I did this or if I did that? With Lilith and Gemini, and you will just do something for the heck of it, but you are also the master observer and you have realized certain patterns. You will take in with you every pattern, every experience you've had in your past, and then apply it to your present. So perhaps you were in a situation where you were dealing with a narcissist and you realized what kind of helped his ego, what kind of kept that narcissist away from you, what triggered that narcissist. If you find yourself in another situation, unfortunately, where you're with a narcissist, you will say, okay, well, I know they don't like that, so if I want to make them mad, I'm going to do this. If they want attention, I'm going to do that. I'm going to ignore them. Or you're going to research it and you're going to get one ahead of other people. Goodness, these ads. But with Lilith and Gemini, you're going to use that knowledge, and that's very, very intelligent, and that is how you get ahead, and that can be to your downfall, because sometimes you will take life a little bit too not as serious as you should, and you might go too far with this energy, like everything's a game, people don't matter, da da da. But, once you acknowledge a side of you and you're like, use it to your advantage. Don't use it with people unless you are trying to get out of a bad situation, a toxic situation, then use it to your advantage. Like, for example, if a woman was leaving domestic violence, domestic abuse with a partner, she would do this slowly. She would not tell her partner. She would keep it secret. She would get a credit card. She would cut off their joint account, but she would do it very quietly. She would pack up the stuff. She would have a backup plan. She would leave in the middle of the night or while he was on a trip. That's an example of Lilith and Gemini using strategy for their advantage in a very benevolent way. But the trouble with Lilith and Gemini is we can think everything's a game sometimes, and we can just not care. We're like, whatever, people don't matter. They're gonna screw me over anyway. There could be a feeling of pessimism, because Lilith and Gemini, one thing I've found from other Liliths and Gemini, we feel misunderstood sometimes. Like, maybe we're communicating and people don't understand us, so then we get irritated. We're like, well, I'm just going to put on a facade of someone completely different. So, if they don't accept that person, then that's fine. That wasn't really me to begin with. Or as an actress, Lilith, with Gemini and Lilith, a lot of people feel misunderstood, and a lot of their mistakes may be blown out of proportion, and they may receive a lot of gossip or a lot of frontline news. Lindsay Lohan has Lilith and Gemini. Shia Buff has Lilith and Gemini. There are a few others that I can listen to the description, but one thing you'll notice from these type of people is Lindsay Lohan. Remember, they were all honing on her. She's an alcoholic, oh my god, all these car wrecks, and just gossip about her. And then Shia Buff, I believe he went to rehab at one point, and that was blown out of proportion. Just a lot of different things. And, I'm not identifying with these people, they're living their life. But I'm just saying, look at that point within them. Look at that point and how their other actors and actresses went through, alcohol or rehab, and theirs did not receive the amount of attention and the amount of focus that Lindsay Lohan and Shia Buff did. And perhaps even Zac Efron, because he has Lilith in the 7th house, Lilith and Gemini, So Lilith and Gemini, you guys are the ultimate chess player. I've also found that you guys may have been a spy in your past life. You're really good at spying. You're really good at observing and kind of keeping knowledge for your advantage. with Lilith and Gemini. So sometimes you won't talk that much. You do love to talk, and you know that talking, gets you to where you need to be. But Lilith and Gemini, if you want to know, they say that saying, they say that saying, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Lilith and Gemini may do this. They may kind of keep a friend around them to see if they are an actual true friend or an enemy, and, get in all of that thing and, remember all that intel. And it's not to say all Lilith and Geminis are manipulative and they're, constantly out to get you, and they're like, I'm going to use all their secrets against them. No. Lilith and Gemini, we all have our Lilith, and these are all our dark energies, and I want to speak about this because it's important to realize it and to know at the end of the day, Lilith and Gemini just wants to be understood. Lilith and Gemini feels like people don't understand their communication style. Lilith and Gemini may not have fit in when they were younger, and maybe, just maybe, Lilith and Gemini spent most of their childhood or adolescence feeling like they had to disassociate, that they had to be an actress to survive. A lot of Lilith and Gemini have intense trauma. You should go watch that video, Honey Boy, by Shiloh Buff. He grew up with a lot of intense trauma. A lot of neglect and abuse when he was younger. And I feel like that kind of ties in for some Lilith and Gemini. I'm not saying all Lilith and Gemini grew up in an abusive household, but if they did, they may have had to, as a child or as a teenager, put on a facade of acting and learn how to read people's moods and learn how to learn information and to research things for their own survival. And perhaps it was too hard, too sensitive, too vulnerable for them to actually be themselves, to actually show themselves. Because when you show yourself fully to someone, you are vulnerable, and that's your weakness. All your weaknesses are out there for show, for picking. So Lilith and Gemini might have created, a version of themselves in their head, like, oh, I'm not myself, I'm this character. I'm like, in my other videos, I'm like Willow, which Willow, she's cool. She wouldn't be a Lilith and Gemini, but at least the dark part, she probably is a Lilith and Gemini. But as the character, you would create a character like, oh, this is Casey. Casey doesn't care. Casey does whatever she wants. Casey's not impacted by these people. That way, when bad things happen, it's not really happening to them. It's happening to a character in their mind. And they won't take responsibility of what's going on because they're like, oh, another character did that. Kind of like the movie Split. It was Patricia. It wasn't me. So with Lilith and Gemini, you are the ultimate chess player. Your flaws, your downfalls may be exaggerated more than other people. They may be up for the public to see, to look at, and more blown out of proportion. Lilith and Gemini, great jobs, I would say, for them, because we get bored with Lilith and Gemini. Become an actress, become an actor, take up theater, take up performance. You guys are really good at observing people, at taking information in and using it to your advantage. With Lilith and Gemini, I feel like when I feel out of control with my life, I will first try to address it from a spiritual standpoint. I will talk to my spirit guides, and I will organize because I'm a Virgo moon. But my Lilith and Gemini, I will really look at it, from the facts and from the strategy. And that is one advantage Lilith and Gemini has, because they have this duality within themselves, the good twin, bad twin, good cop, bad cop, the angel, the devil, the the classy, I can't think of the saying, but it's like the lady in the streets, freak in the sheets, that duality, back and forth. Lilith and Gemini, when we have this duality, you see this duality within people around you. You see that some people have a great, wonderful, loving, beautiful, chipper, positive, kind, charismatic, loving, intelligent, positive side to them, but they also have a dark, selfish, rude, condescending, even narcissistic, egotistic, negative, messy side of themselves. Everyone has these two sides. Some people more than others, based on mood disorders. Some people more than others. So with Lilith and Gemini, you see the duality within others, and you know that gives you the ability, the uncanny ability to look at your situation or look at what's going wrong in your life and look at it from a fact place. Look at it like, this person is not there for me. This person is a family member, but they are hurting me. This person is a friend, but they're not a true friend. We see it clear as day, as maybe a Libra in Gemini, oh my God, Libra and Lilith might not see it because they want to take the fair sense, or maybe a Sagittarius might not see it as quick because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter and they're very optimistic. So with Lilith and Gemini, we see it just as it is. We don't sugarcoat it. We don't try to make people what they aren't. We see things boldly, black and white, as they are, which gives us an advantage over people because we see it realistically. So we're like, okay, this avenue is dead. This friendship with this person is dead. This person is actually an enemy. This avenue with this ex is over. It's done. This is who they really are. This workplace is done. It's over. It's not serving me anymore. I don't like the job. I don't like the people. I don't like where this is going. I don't like them playing favorites. I don't like this politics, so I'm leaving. And that gives you the one up over other people, because other people might try to, to make excuses for it, to say that, oh, it's not that bad, or there's potential, things can change. No, Lilith and Gemini, they see the duality, they see things for they are, so they move on very quickly, and they're like, boop, 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 let's go. And the best thing I could do with the Lilith and Gemini for myself is to write down a strategy. Like, okay, I don't like this situation. Here's what's really going on. This person is acting like this. I want to move here, or I want to do this career instead, or I want to do this. So this is what I have to do to get there. Lilith and Gemini will take all their resources. They're like, okay, this is what I have right now. These are all I need. And then Lilith and Gemini will research it. They're like, okay, this is what I need to know. These are the skills I need to have. These are the things that I need to know for my field, and this is how I can get above others, by researching this, by adding more value, by knowing the in and outs completely of my field, or where I need to be in. And they have that. They have that all available to them. And Lilith and Gemini loves researching because they spend a lot of the time bored. They get bored of the same routine. Oh, I'm thinking of that Eminem song. Have you heard of that Eminem song where it's saying, same routine? Oh my gosh, this song got me through finals. I really want to tell it for y'all. Oh my gosh, Mercury in retrograde, help me. Same routine. Oh, Rabbit Run. Oh my gosh, listen to Rabbit Run by Eminem. He's like getting tired of the same thing, same routine. The walls are closing in on me. I feel that with Lilith and Gemini, we get tired of doing the same thing over and over. So because of that, we have that advantage. When we want to start a new skill, when we want to learn about astrology, we will go into a really detailed part of astrology, like tropical astrology, like the Lilith signs, and research each sign, or research multiple sources of that sign, as well as online, as well as video. And because of that, Gemini knows so much, and when they know, they take all this knowledge, all this, and then they use it for problem solving. How to get out of a situation, how to change their career, how to change their appearance, how to change their mannerism, how to change how they carry themselves, how to manifest, how to use the law of attraction, how to attract love, how to attract friendships. And Lilith and Gemini also, another cool thing I've seen from Lilith and Gemini is it's a very mutable sign. So with Lilith and Gemini, with that Lilith and Gemini, that mutable air, you can adjust to any situation however you want. You don't have to be, you don't have to be one version of yourself. You know how to act in front of a boss. You know how to act in front of a love interest. You know how to act in front of a friend. You know how to act in front of parents. You know how to act in front of sisters. You know exactly what people want to hear. That's another advantage Lilith and Gemini has. We realize that people don't necessarily get what they need to hear. People don't want what they need to hear. They don't want what they need to hear. They want to hear what will go to their fantasies. Kind of like seeing the world through rose-colored glasses. Lilith and Gemini notices that people, they don't want to hear what they need. When someone's getting over a breakup, they may need to say, hey, focus on your self-love. Don't you have some inner trauma? Don't you have some childhood trauma that you need to do? Don't you need to learn to go discover yourself and travel and be alone for a little bit? But Lilith and Gemini knows that they don't really want to hear that right now, and that's what they need, but it's not going to make them happy, and they're going to reject and do what they want anyway. So Lilith and Gemini is going to tell that person, hey girl, you need to go get laid, like go get some D. Hey boy, you need to go get laid, get some P. You need to get out there, you need to get a new outfit, you need to get a new haircut, you need to get classy, you are a catch your dime. They are missing out anyway. We're going to show them how they're missing out, and you're going to have the best time of your life. You know, let's have a girls night, let's have a girls weekend, let's go get, you know, drunk, or let's go party. For our guy, let's go get drunk, or let's go get party, and like you're free now, you can do whatever you want, you're a hot bitch, you're a hot guy, you know, because Lilith and Gemini knows that's what people want to hear, so they will, you know, add to that. Lilith and Gemini, and they know this, and because they see the world as a game most of the time, not with people they care about, but, you know, as a game, they're like, oh, cool, so, like, people don't actually want to hear what they need, they just want to hear what they want to hear, so I'm going to tell them that, like, I'm going to tell them whatever. And then Lilith and Gemini, they know, they can sense people's weaknesses and then their strengths, so they will, if they're trying to, you know, kind of get someone on their good side, they'd be like, okay, well, I know this dude wants his ego stroked, so I'm gonna, you know, go ahead and stroke his ego to get him on my good side, so when I ask that favor, he's gonna think of me in the best way. Or Lilith and Gemini may think, you know, I know that friend will really like me if I give them the best friend experience and if I uplift others. And I know that as a woman, the more I talk about people that I'm like, oh my God, you're so pretty, you're so great, and talk about women like a whole, then people find that very attractive and very wonderful, and you should do that anyway. But Lilith and Gemini intuitively knows that from the knowledge and research, so they'll do that. Instead of putting women down, they'll bring people up, and then that makes them more likable with Lilith and Gemini. And this can be dangerous if the Lilith and Gemini has a mood disorder or they're egotistical, because they can take it too far and see people as pawns. But Lilith and Gemini, I feel like we all kind of do this. We all, you know it's kind of like going on a first date. You put your best foot forward. We're not all actually like we are on our first date. We're not all wearing red dresses with red lipsticks and like, oh, excuse me, sir, excuse me, oh, pardon me, you know, I have all my life together and everything, and oh my gosh, and guys are like pretending that they make so much money, and women are pretending that they're so hot and that they don't burp and that they don't that they're the most interesting thing in the world and they have many options. You know, we're not all like that. But Lilith and Gemini, we cater to that sometimes because it's fun, and then we do realize that, hey, I can attract more flies with honey than with, I don't know how the saying goes, whatever. More flies with honey, like, right. So we're going to enhance that, and that can be used to our advantage when we really want to get a job that we want to get, when we want to go up in our position, when we want to, you know, filter out who we want to date and whatnot. Very quick to read vibes. Lilith and Gemini, I feel, what else have I learned with Lilith and Gemini? There's so much. We often feel Lilith and Gemini that we talk too much sometimes. And that can be troubling because our mouth can kind of get us into situations that other Liliths wouldn't get them in, because Lilith and Gemini is constantly thinking. Their mind never shuts off. To the point where I, with the Lilith and Gemini, have to watch ASMR to calm down before I go to bed, because I'm not thinking about, oh, the world's a game, how can I play with these players and move things around? You know, a little part of me is, but with Lilith and Gemini, I'm also thinking, oh my gosh, I gotta pay my bills, I gotta like get this career going, I need to make sure I got all my content, I got my pictures up, and I also want to hang out with these friends, and I also want to try this new hobby. So because of that constant chatter in that mind, Lilith and Gemini, we really have to focus on something before we go to bed. But our mouths can get us in trouble, because when we're constantly thinking, having conversations with ourselves with Lilith and Gemini, oh, when we get mad and someone's popping off, we know how to hurt them, and we know how to say all these things that we're thinking. Some of these things we're thinking are manipulative. Some of these things we're thinking are really kind of effed up. And in a moment of passion, we may say some of these thoughts that we've been having for days, weeks, or months. And that will be the Gemini's detriment, no matter how strategic they are, how great of a chess player they are. When you out yourself, you out yourself. That's one thing I've told people. You can never take back what you say to a person. You can take back what you do. If you have an action that's kind of like effed up, but you come back and you say, oh, I'm sorry, please forgive me, 90% of the time, humans, we want to inherently think that other humans are good and deep down they are great, and we don't want our ego bruised by thinking they're out to get us. So we'll say, okay, it's all right, you didn't mean it. Yeah, let's be friends again. Let's date again. Blah blah blah. But Lilith and Gemini, we know that certain words can never be taken back. People don't remember really what you do to you, but people always remember how you make them feel. That is a quote. And I feel that too, because if someone says something terrible to me, like think about something someone said to you and changed your life. I'm sure you remember those words. Think of a very memorable event. You remember the words, right? When someone broke your heart, when someone told you, I have absolutely no feelings for you. I'm sure you remember the exact time and date. Or when someone said, I love you for the first time. You remember that. Or when someone said, I like you, your first crush that liked you back. You remember those words because words have power. And Gemini and Lilith knows how important, how imperative it is with these words and how some words can never be taken back. So Lilith and Gemini will either be very quiet, or when they talk, they're going to just talk about shallow stuff and other people's drama, or, top of the layer things, because they know if they go deep and if they start talking about themselves, that's when their thoughts are going to come out, and they're going to say something just for the heck of it sometimes. Like a Lilith and Gemini, I like to push people's limits. I'm not ashamed to say that, because I feel like people push my limits a lot of the time. And I will do that to people sometimes. I will see how much I can get away with. See if I can get a rise out of them. See what their emotional trigger points are. See where their soft points are. And I'll say like random stuff. I'm like, I wonder if they'd get jealous if I said that. I wonder if they would. And like, guys, I know this is really bad, so don't do this all the time. But I'm going to admit to it, because Lilith and Gemini, we're talking about that lower energy. We're talking about the good and the bad of Lilith and Gemini. So a lower energy is I will hit certain points. I will see what makes that person tick. And then I'll be like, okay, I can push them this far. I can push them right here. No further. And I have all this space where I can kind of mess around with. Because Lilith and Gemini, we are the trickster and we are the jokester. So we do like to make funny jokes, and we do like to get the attention off of us, because we're like, oh, don't see my flaws. Don't try to manipulate me. Don't look at my weak points. So if I focus more on you and I talk more about you and I make little jokes more about you, it's going to avert the attention from me. So with Lilith and Gemini, we're going to see that. And I do that with a lot of people, not as much as I used to now, because I am very spiritual. But when I'm feeling stressed or frustrated with my own life, I will admit to that. I do tend to push people's buttons to see how fast I can push them, because it's kind of like, it's almost satisfying. I know it's weird, but it's almost satisfying, because when you push people's limits, you're kind of like, you kind of get an adrenaline rush off it. You're like, ooh, I got away with it. Like The Incredibles, where that guy's like, oh, he got away with it, with the crime. And you're like, oh, I can go this far with this person, get away with it. I can go this far with this person, get away with it. But I know I can't talk about that certain topic, or I can't do this action, or I can't go this much further, or this person will cut me off, or this person will not see me in a positive light. So we're very methodical with that. And the good thing about Lilith and Gemini is we're mutable air, so we can be whatever. We know that people want us to be to talk about them most of the time, or to be like a hot girl, or to be more tomboy, or to be like, oh, I'm one of the guys, yeah, or to be like, oh yeah, I'm your girl, I'm your girlfriend. I would never let anyone hit on me. I would always protect you. I would always take up for you in a fight. I got your back. With the Lilith and Gemini, we know how to go from these energies back and forth, and it's really cool, because when you're in a situation trying to feel it out, it's easier for you to do that than it would be other people. And we know what people want to hear, so we're going to say that, and that's going to get, brownie points with each group, with each individual, with Lilith and Gemini. So really, the Lilith and Gemini can honestly go from any situation and be okay until they start talking about themselves, and they might out themselves, because they're going to be talking so fast. They're going to be talking about all their thinking, and something's going to slip because of their game, the way they see the world as a game, and something's going to slip with that, and then people are going to see a glimpse of how they actually are, or at least that darker energy within them, and they're going to be like, oh, what was that? Oh, why'd you say that? That doesn't seem like your character. And then the Lilith and Gemini is going to try to backtrack, be like, oh, I don't know why I said that, like, I wasn't feeling so good, or I was feeling stressed, that's not how I really am, and push that away, push that energy away with the Lilith and Gemini. So when you have that Lilith and Gemini, it's really important to kind of have an avenue for speaking, to have have a hobby. If you're really bored, then like go try something new, take up a new hobby, take up skating, go to the park, take up knitting, do an e-course. You're very intelligent, and use this intelligence to your advantage with Lilith and Gemini. So yeah, those are some things that I have found with Lilith and Gemini. I'm trying to think of anything else. I feel that Lilith and Gemini, they like to take chances. They could be adrenaline junkies. They could be addicted to, putting themselves in kind of reckless situations. It could be the top of the Peabody Mansion. It could be on the top of that. It could be they like bungee jumping. It could be they like driving in fast cars. It could be that they like hanging out with guys who drive fast cars. It could be that they like skating without a helmet. It could be that they like walking in the middle of the road and like, oh, maybe that car will hit me. Lilith and Gemini, they can be addicted to that adrenaline because they can get so bored. They can get so stuck like in their head, and maybe they're feeling like, oh, it's not a game. They want to feel something. They want to feel like, yes, on top of the world. And I know as a Lilith and Gemini, one of my favorite things to do is to go on the rooftop, because I feel so powerful. I feel free, and I also feel like, oh my gosh, what if I fell off? Oh, that would be so crazy. Oh my God, like to feel all that power all at once is really, really good. It feels good. It feels nice with Lilith and Gemini. And it also feels like a bit scary. It feels a bit scary, but you feel alive. I feel like most Lilith and Gemini, they just want to feel alive, and they could have the tendency of getting bored in relationships, and they can, mess it up. They can self-sabotage. They can start an argument just for the sake of starting an argument so they can win the argument, or they can rustle things up. They can have make-up sex, or, if they feel like, this has been too simple, too easy, they will do that with Lilith and Gemini. Not all the time, just sometimes. So my advice to Lilith and Gemini is, hey, don't be bored. Like, if you are bored, dude, like, there's the whole world out there. There's so many avenues of people that really do appreciate your voice, and they love your intellect. Like, Lilith and Geminis are very imaginative. They have a wonderful imagination. So you guys could, like, honestly write short stories. You could write on Wattpad. You could create a book. You could write poetry. You could film yourself. You could do a YouTube channel. You could do a podcast. You could do a blog. You could act. You could be an actress. You could sing. You could perform. And Lilith and Gemini, we love to engage in this imagination, and we love to play. We love to see things as a game. So if you see things as a game, as a performer, then, get into places where you can perform without hurting anyone around you, which would be as an actress, which would be taking acting classes, which would be getting in movies, getting in shows, which would also be in theater, or it could be as simple as like just writing a blog about a girl with a backpack and she goes on adventures. Or you could write a book, or you could just do whatever, dude. Like, do everything and anything is available to you with this energy, Lilith and Gemini. Yeah, so that would be my advice to you if you feel a sense of boredom. But also, do keep this strategy with you, because that strategy is going to help you, because you may be prone to depression sometimes, having all those answers and those thinkings, like, oh my God, this is how the world really is. This sucks. How come people don't change it? Why are people so ignorant? Da-da-da-da-da. Use that strategy to your advantage to get to where you need to be, to your dream life, to your dream career, to your dream love, to your dream friendships, to your dream soul tribe, to the dream talents. If you want to get there, use that strategy. Use the resources around you, all you know about people, all you know about your experience, every little thing, and act that part. Act that part of yourself. Act your dream part. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this Lilith and Gemini part 2. I really wanted to get it across because, it's therapeutic for me to talk about my Lilith and Gemini sign. And I think it's really important, and I know it's really important, that all of us accept our dark side, to know our dark side, to love our dark side, to nurture our inner child and that darkness and that rejected part of ourselves. and to start a community where other people do as well, and not to focus like on it and be this way all the time, obviously, but accept your dark and your light, your yin and your yang, and then move forward and heal it. And then use that strategy to get to where you need to be, and use that boredom to invest in your hobbies and acting and performing or writing, and these wonderful, beautiful attributes and qualities that you all have, Gemini and Lilith. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful evening, night, rest of your day. Also, this podcast is available on Anchor if you want to support me there. All right, guys. Bye.